Hello, this is Alexis, and in this video I will show you how I brake with my electric unicycle and also how I deal with braking wobbles. The easiest way to slow down and brake with an EUC is to bend both knees down while keeping the feet in contact with the pedals and the lower legs straight. This position resembles the movement needed to sit down on a chair. So, if you are struggling to grasp the exact position, just think about when you need to sit down on the toilet, for instance. Just remember that there is no chair nor toilet to support you, only the strength of your legs. This movement brings the upper body towards the back of the EUC, thus shifting most weight backwards, which then slows down and stops the unicycle. There are a few considerations that I'd like to add. First, the higher the speed, the longer the EUC will take to slow down and stop. Second, the degree of knee bending will also have an impact on the braking power. So to speak, the more you squat down, the higher the power of braking will be. You just need to be careful not to overdo it, as it can overpower the wheel, and it also might destabilize you to the point of landing on your backside. I did the latter a few times. Third, the position of your arms will mostly depend on your personal preference. I have tried a few experiments whereby, while bending my knees, I also moved my arms backwards. This improved my stopping power a bit more, but it could overpower more easily the wheel. On the other hand, I found that keeping the arms open to the sides or moving them forward had the best stability and control results. Fourth, if you slip from the pedals, there are a couple of things that can help. Power pads that lock you in just enough to stay on the wheel, but not too much not to be able to bail if needed. Honeycomb spiked pedals can also help. The honeycomb shape helps the water, snow, mud to be drained down instead of accumulating on the pedals, whereas the spikes increase the grip notably. There are also different ways of slowing down or braking, such as keeping the body rigid and leaning back instead of bending the knees. I personally find this method quite unsettling, therefore I don't really use it. Another way to slow down our EUC is to drift or skid to a stop to the side, which is quite a tricky skill to acquire. This is best attempted in gravel, snow or slippery terrains. I have attempted it on snow and sand, but I still cannot do it properly. This way of braking is mostly used by roller skaters when they drift to a stop, for instance. Now that we covered the basics of slowing down and braking with our unicycles, let's move to the next topic, braking wobbles. If you are a new rider, there is a higher chance of experiencing wobbles or braking wobbles. Braking wobbles had happened to me many times for different reasons, such as my initial inexperience, which led my legs to be stiffer and more tense, inducing involuntary wobbles, a highly misaligned tire, uneven terrains, braking downhill at high speeds, or simply braking hard from high speeds, meaning 30-40 miles plus per hour. Usually, wobbles can be mitigated by accelerating and carving. With carving, I mean putting more weight onto one leg than the other, so to stabilize the wheel. However, in certain situations, when for instance there might be an obstacle on the way, it might not be possible to fix wobbles the standard way, as we really need to stop the wheel to avoid an accident of sort. So, when I brake hard and the wobbles get worse, what do? Well, the most difficult thing is trying not to panic while slowing down as gradually as possible. In these cases, my power pads play a key role in keeping me grounded, as the wheel wants to throw me off sideways instead. I also ensure that my legs are not gripping the shell too tightly. Instead, I try to relax them in a position that is slightly away from the shell, maybe a millimeter, maybe more. It depends by the situation. This should help to stabilize the wheel. In some cases, however, I must admit that gripping the shell tightly worked well to get rid of the wobbles. Unfortunately, one answer for all might not always apply. Nevertheless, there is something about it that could be done. Practical experience. Hold on, I'll explain. There was an exercise that I did when I had a bit over 100 miles of EUC experience, which consisted of self-inducing braking wobbles in a controlled environment. This meant, for instance, a park, a parking lot, a quiet space with the least amount of people as possible, being very well geared up and possibly with a friend nearby. There, I could accelerate to 20 or 30 miles, then brake as hard as I could, thus inducing braking wobbles. Since I was self-inducing those wobbles, I did not panic as much as I would in an unexpected situation. Plus, in the back of my head, I knew how I wanted to react to them, which was applying a series of different techniques and see what worked best in practice. Also, the more I was experiencing those wobbles, the more comfortable I felt, until I wasn't even that scared anymore, as my ability in controlling them grew to the point where I knew that most likely I would not fall because of them. My ultimate purpose, as with all the other exercises, was to get my body to instantly respond with very little thinking on my part. Muscle memory, so to say. So if things were to get nasty in an unexpected situation, my body would save me from my panicky mind. As with most things in life, practice makes us better. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao!